Jaden Rashada has officially committed to Georgia now. Arizona State to Georgia. So he has gone Florida. Give me all the money. There's no money. Then I'm out. Arizona State started 2 games. Now he's going to Georgia, where at best he'll be the backup this year to Carson Beck. What does it mean, LT? What does this mean, Brownie?
Well, I'll tell you what it means is if Rashada, after Carson Beck has an incredible year this year, comes in and is the starting quarterback for the Georgia Bulldogs in 2025, and he scalds Florida, it would be so typical where Florida football is right now.
Yeah.
You know, Brock Vandergriff gets, from what I hear, $600,000-$700,000 to go to Kentucky. So you're looking for that next guy. I guess Gunnar Stockton is still on that roster. Jaden Rashada, you know, I watched, I think it was like a late night Saturday game. I think it was like the second or third game of the year where he came in, and there was no expectation for Arizona State at all. And I thought he played really well. He just hasn't had a lot of reps.
You know, it's interesting. This is a situation in the transfer portal you don't often see where a guy jumps from a little more of a solid position to a spot to be patient, right? Normally the transfer portal, I'm impatient. I'm getting out of here. I'm going to go start somewhere else. This guy is going to be the starter, and he jumps in the portal to jump to a place where now he's got to be patient. So in choosing to do that, he gets to potentially, I guess, be the backup, right? I mean, assuming he wins that spot behind Carson Beck. So now, in practice, I'm operating in the system I'm going to play in. When it's mop-up duty, and Georgia will have a lot of mop-up duty, I get to do that, and I get to show the coaches in that system. Rather than tear it up at Arizona State, I'm going to go be the backup and be patient to become a starter. You just normally don't see this in the transfer portal.
And Dunaway, I think Kirby can sell it a couple of ways. You look at Carson Beck. He can say, we believe Carson's going to win a national championship. He's going to win a Heisman. He's going to be the number 1 overall guy. This is a guy that was patient behind Stetson Bennett. He didn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
You can also point out Alabama, you know, how Bryce and Mac Jones did it, waiting patiently. And I think Georgia's it's one of the few programs where you can get a player to buy into that.
Now, what's going to be crazy is if he goes there and doesn't win the backup job. So now he goes and really doesn't even get a lot of clean mop-up duty. I assume he will win the backup job, but you never know.
Rashada still got to prove himself. A big-time 5-star recruit, Juju Lewis, this could impact him because he's a Carrollton, Georgia guy, and some people thought he could end up at Georgia. And with Rashada going there, that may mean Juju ends up somewhere else. And I know some Auburn people are hoping it's Auburn, or I don't know, you know, maybe Florida people hope it's Florida. I don't know where Juju ends up now, but Juju is a big 5-star Carrollton quarterback who is out there now. See where he ends up. So one could impact another.
I mean, Jaden Rashada is really the face of NIL controversy, and I'm not saying this is entirely his fault, but he's kind of become – he is the guy that always gets mentioned when NIL goes bad.
Yeah, and I still don't think anybody really believes that story when you talk about the numbers.
I don't believe –
if it would have been $1 million, I think we could all digest it.
I don't believe the size of the numbers, but I do believe he was – at least under the impression he was getting something.
It was going to be $13 million for his career.
Those are the reports. Yeah. $13 million for his career. And the story goes, for those that don't know, he gets to Florida and the collective is like, hey, we don't have the $13 million. You know, I know you're here now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I know you're here now, but we don't have the $13 million. And he says, well, guess where I'm not for long? Gainesville, Florida. And he goes to Tempe. I could see that happening, just not at the $13 million level. You know what I'm saying?
Well, let me ask you, since you bring up the face of NIL, think about who you think that is.
You're not going to believe who I'm going to say.
Oh,
but when you said
I'm going
it.
to write mine down.
Okay, you write yours down. But when you said it, the first name that came to mind is the name I am going to say. Name and face. You asked for a face. Olivia Dunn.
Oh, wow.
Is that not what you wrote down?
I was thinking football.
Oh, was it football only?
I was just thinking football, but I went DJ Uyunglele.
Because he was the Dr. Pepper guy?
And he was the first NIL deal, I think, that was signed, right?
Well,
the rule went into, and then boom, they announced the Dr. Pepper deal.
And the Dr. Pepper jinx, because you look at DJ to Bryce to Caleb.
If you went football, I don't even know who I'd go with.
I went DJ because of that, but Olivia Dunn is big.
Well, I mean.
Who is who's Fansville this year?
I couldn't tell you.
I think
I don't think they've announced it yet, have they?
That was the first football one, I mean. But the twins that were at Fresno, right?
The
basketball or volleyball.
Yeah, those are the one that transferred to Miami.
Or maybe they were at USC or somewhere, and then they went to Miami.
I think they were Fresno.
I was thinking of Olivia Dunn because I, honest to goodness, could not name a single gymnast in America, except her. Suni Lee is not at Auburn anymore, right? She's not competing. Am I right about that?
No, I think she's trying to.
Like, I know her because she was an Olympic gold medalist, but
Right.
I cannot name another gymnast in America. I really could not. I'm not just putting on, honest to goodness, if you had a gun to my head, I could not name another one.
Yeah, I do not.
And I can
follow
name her,
her,
and I don't even know if she does anything for LSU. I just know that she's a gymnast at LSU.
She was dancing with the national championship trophy.
Well, yeah, I mean, I know she's part of the team. I'm just saying I don't know if she's a contributor on the team.
I don't either.
But I only know her because of NIL, Lance. Without NIL, I wouldn't have a clue who she is.
Yeah, and I've seen her more in Viore commercials than I have on any Sports Center
I've seen
highlights.
her more on social media than I've seen anywhere.
Well, I mean, like
Yeah.
TikTok, I do not follow her, but I guess because I follow sports accounts or look at sports stuff,
She's a sports star.
she pops up in my feed occasionally.
Yeah.
Like that's how I knew LSU had won the
You
national
know who
championship in
follows her?
gymnastics.
My teenage boys know exactly who she is,
I'm
and
sure.
they follow her.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I understand why.
By the way, Shadur Sanders, I bet, is your Fansville guy. The more I think about it.
You think so?
For this year,
Yep.
Could be. I mean, don't they try to get a guy from a team they think is going to contend, though? I mean, that is going to be a bottom dweller
typically,
team.
but they also try to get a name and a face. I just don't. I don't see Carson Beck being that guy.
I really don't either. I'm with
could-
you on Carson Beck.
you could get the whole Sanders family at that point. Primetime, eh?
Oh,
Oh,
that'd
he'd
be
do
fun
it.
commercials.
Oh, him and Boz.
Now, it wouldn't shock me if they've got a deal with another drink and they can't do it. That wouldn't stun me.
Wouldn't stun me
As
either.
many, as many endorsements as
Now,
Prime
if
has.
if Boz pulls out his pistol, that's going to be controversial.
Controversial.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know who you would use, Lance. It's a good question.
I think it's Shadur Sanders.
Yeah. We'll see when we get
Yeah,
to
but
Fansville.
Olivia Dunn, I mean, I don't know anything about college gymnastics. I don't know anything, but I know who she is. And to me, she's the face of NIL. Without NIL, she wouldn't be what she is. And so that's the first person who came to mind.